Welcome to MLC TV News. We are reaching you live from Lokoja, the capital city of Kogi State. I am Fatima Yakub. The headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari returns to Abuja, assures of better collaboration with the Turkish government. ASUU announces postponed strike. The Netherlands go into Christmas lockdown over Omicron wave. And in boxing, Joseph Parker beats Derek Chisora by unanimous decision in their rematch fight. Now the news in detail. Nigeria President Buhari has called for increased support for Africa in fighting terrorism, vaccine equity and manufacture on the continent, and for combined effort to address the effects of climate change. The president made this appeal during the third Turkey-Africa Partnership Summit with an appealing theme, Enhanced Partnership for Common Development and Prosperity. The meeting of President Buhari with the Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan was reported by media aide Garba Shehu, who wrote in a statement made available to journalists titled Takeaways from President Buhari's epic visit to Turkey, that Tayyip Erdogan has agreed to work with President Buhari in tackling insurgents and other security challenges facing Nigeria.
Shehu Garba said this in his statement that the Turkish, from their wide experience and advantages in fighting terrorism and bandits, have assured to support Nigerian government with their sophisticated drones or even through the supply or manufacture of the military ordnance to quicken the process and efforts to rid the country of pockets of terrorists and the menace of kidnappers and bandits. Garba confirmed that in Nigeria's journey into January 2022, a team from the Turkish defense establishment is expected to be in Nigeria to advance the discussions on the issue of military procurement. Part of the takeaway is a business opportunity that in the not-too-distant future, the administration of the Federal Capital Territory will be receiving the team of investors, including the world-famous MUHAMMADU Foundation, to be shown exact locations for the setting up of a 5-star hotel and conference center, schools, and a world-class hospital. Garba Shehu further disclosed that 3 other companies have expressed strong interest in other areas, with the first in oil and gas, and from which a good outcome is expected by the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, Mlc Tv, and the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ni Adebayo. Also added that one of the other investors has his interest in the Abuja property market, real estate and the creative industry, especially filmmaking, and another with interest in the construction sector. This is the company that built Turkey's famous undersea tunnel.
The House of Representatives panel on public account, chaired by Busayo Oluwole Oke, Osun PDP, has summoned the clerk to the National Assembly, CNA Amos Ojo, to appear before it over the multiple audit queries raised by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation against the management of the National Assembly. The chairman, who gave the order, indicated that it has become imperative following the rumor making rounds and the public outcry, especially by the civil society organizations, that a whopping amount of money was missing in the National Assembly. According to Oke, the committee is thereby summoning the clerk to the National Assembly to appear before it on Wednesday this week to explain and respond to the Auditor General's queries. The AGF Agugu Adolphus and the audit queries uncovered how over 8.5 billion naira from the funds released to the National Assembly were expended within the period under review without evidence. The report submitted to the clerk to the National Assembly in August this year, as required by the Constitution, said the monies under scrutiny were not backed by vouchers and retirement documents. The audit report is usually submitted to the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee for investigation. The House of Representatives Committee, Public Account Committee, PAC, at the weekend berated the Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, for resorting the use of consultants to manage visa and passport-related matters at the nation's mission across the globe. The committee, chaired by Busayo Oluwole Oke, summoned the Minister of Interior, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, the Acting Comptroller General of the Immigration, to appear before it on Wednesday to address that issue. The committee issued a summon on the affected individuals when the Acting Comptroller General of the Service, Idris Jerry, represented by an Assistant Comptroller General, Budget Olubusola Fashokin, appeared before the committee over a query from the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation against the service. The chairman of the committee lamented the ugly incident, which he said was costing the country a lot of money, adding that it should be stopped immediately since there were personnel adequately trained for the same purpose. According to him, he visited the embassies and the Auditor General raised some queries on some missions and visited South Africa, Atlanta and US. They discovered that Nigeria is losing serious money through their operations. The committee also directed NIS to furnish it with procurement records for utilization of money collected through service-wide votes and deployed for capital purposes from 2013 to 2018. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has postponed its decision on strike, saying that consultations are still ongoing. This was contained in a press statement issued by the union after its National Executive Council meeting. The statement said the meeting was held at its Festus EI National Secretariat, University of Abuja, to review the level of government's implementation of the FGN ASUU Memorandum of Action of December 23, 2020 and other related matters, according to the press statement titled Enough of Blackmail, signed by ASUU President Professor Emmanuel Osodeke. The lecturers regretted that the federal government had turned its back on the plan to set up an interministerial committee to review the draft renegotiated 2009 FGN ASUU agreement. Recalls that ASUU had announced plans to embark on a strike over the federal government's failure to meet its demands. Apart from the end academic allowances, ASUU said its demands included the review of the MUC Act to curb the proliferation of universities by state government who are not funding the existing ones, adopting the University Transparency Accountability Solutions with concurrent discontinuance of the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, and distortion in salary payment. Others are the release of accumulated promotion arrears and the review and signing of the draft document on the renegotiation of 2009 ASUU and FGN agreement. A federal high court in Abuja on Monday has nullified Senator Andy Uba's participation in the November 6th Anambra State governorship election. Justice Iyang Ekwo, in a judgment, held that Uba was never a candidate in the election, having emerged from an illegally conducted primary election by the All Progressives Congress. The judge held that the plaintiff, George Mukalu, succeeded in proving that the APC did not conduct a valid primary election from which Andy Uba claimed to have emerged as the party's candidate. The judge ordered INEC to delete Uba from its record as a candidate in the election. He then ordered the APC to refund to the plaintiff the sum of 22.5 million naira he paid for expression of interest and nomination form since the party failed to conduct a valid primary. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has opened up that the Republic of Benin, Niger Republic and Togo has made no payment for the electricity supplied to them from Nigeria in the second quarter of 2021. The disclosure was made in its just-released second quarter report 2021. The NERC stated that the power firms of the three nations and some other special customers were issued a total bill of 770 million naira by the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company and the market operator of the Transmission Company of Nigeria.
It is, however, noted that nothing was paid by the neighboring countries and other special customers for the power supplied to them from Nigeria during the period. The neighboring countries' power firms include Société Nigérienne Électricité (NIGLET) in Niger Republic, Société Béninoise d'Énergie Électrique (SBEE) in Benin Republic, and Compagnie Énergie Électrique du Togo (CEET) in Togo Republic. The Commission said during the quarter under review, NBET and MO issued a total of 0.77 billion naira in respect of energy sold by NBET and services rendered by MO to the Special Ajaokuta Steel Co. Limited and other bilateral customers and international customers, Société Nigérienne d'Électricité (NIGLET), Société Béninoise d'Énergie Électrique (SBEE), and Compagnie Énergie Électrique du Togo (CEET). The management stated it is hoped that as the economy of these customers improve post-COVID-19 lockdown, they will resume the settlement of their bills in full. On the performance of distribution companies in Nigeria with respect to the payment of electricity sold to them by the NBET, the power sector regulator stated that the firms did not pay up their bills. During the second quarter of 2021, a total invoice of 259.7 billion naira was issued to the 11 discos for energy received from the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC and for service charged by MO, out of which a sum of 130.11 billion naira was settled, representing remittance performance of 50.11%. This represents a 1.78 percentage point decrease from the final settlement rate recorded in the first quarter of 2021. The NERC stated that apart from Eco Disco, none of the other discos met their expected minimum remittance threshold to NIBET in the quarter under review. It stated that overall, the total disco remittance to NBET was 76% of expected total for the quarter, as the average aggregated remittance performance to MO and NBET decreased by 1.78% from 51.88% in first quarter 2021 to 50.1% in the second quarter. NERC stated disco remittance performance level ranged from 10.51% YOLA to 63.69% ECHO to NBET and 28.76% YOLA to 99.88% ECHO for MO. It added Ikeja recorded zero remittance to MO in May and June 2021 as they wait to resolve service level agreement dispute. On commercial performance, the report stated that the total billing to the collection from electricity consumers by all the 11 discos stood at 268.97 billion naira and 185.29 billion naira respectively during the quarter under the review, implying a collection efficiency of 68.89%. It said the level of collection efficiency indicated that as much as 3.11 naira out of every 10 naira worth of energy sold during the second quarter of 2021 remained uncollected from customers.
The Nigerian Union of Journalists and the Nigerian Guild of Editors have warned politicians against what they described as politics of the destruction ahead of the 2023 general elections. The two highly respected authorities in the Nigerian media profession gave the warning at a special reception by the Crime Reporters Association of Nigeria in honor of Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State held in Lagos.
The National President NUJ Chris Isiguzo and the President NGE Mustapha Issa particularly commended Governor Bello for turning the security situation in Kogi State around for good, saying those bent on undermining winning strategies to score political points should not play with the lives of Nigerians.
In the build-up to this election 2023, normally politicians do so many things. And the stories that we are beginning to receive from Kogi State quite recently, they are not so interesting, and I want to use this opportunity to appeal to our political actors. We don't need to destroy the country that we aspire to lead. So I want to indeed appeal to politicians in Kogi State especially, and Nigeria in general. We have only one country we can call our own, and that is Nigeria. We've had leaders in the past. They've come and gone. If they destroyed the entire system, you will not have any country that you will aspire to lead. So we appeal to them. Please, please, and please, don't destroy this country. And like I said, Governor Yahaya Bello is doing wonderfully well in that area.
The category of governors are two. Some who collect security vote and sit and do nothing. There are some, they don't complain, but they work to solve the problem. And they don't also run to Abuja. They work with existing security agencies to solve the problem in their various states, using local content, like vigilante and even local hunters, to solve their problems. One of them is Governor Yahaya Bello. And so the three elections drawn here, please, let's talk to politicians. Never you mix issue of security with your politics. But this country belongs to all of us.
The Crime Reporters Association of Nigeria said members of the association organized the reception in honor of the governor to show appreciation to him for being the first governor in Nigeria to train crime reporters and also empower them to perform their roles better in these trying times. The association noted that from reports around the country, Kogi State was the safest in the north and one of the safest today in Nigeria, owing to the sound security strategies of the governor, as outlined by the State Security Advisor. Governor Bello was represented at the event by the Kogi State Security Advisor, Jerry Omodara.
As far as information is concerned, as far as sharing ideas, security agencies taking ownership along with the people of the state, of the communities, then we get it well. This is what Yabelo is doing in Kogi.
He said the state had responded promptly and successfully to some pockets of violence, noting that an announcement will be made on the issue very soon. He thanked the Nigerian media for the special recognition, saying it was a call on him to do more. CRAN President Sunday Odita said a leader who attached so much importance to security was one who deserved higher assignments. Jane Balagbobo reporting for MLC TV.
The Kogi State government has repatriated 34 trafficked children back to Plateau State. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Fatima Kabir Buba, disclosed this during a news briefing in Lokoja. It could be recalled that the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency on the 16th of this month, along the Okene-Lokoja Expressway, intercepted 2 commercial buses, Toyota Sienna, a 12-seater Mazda, respectively, conveying minors from Ogun State to Plateau State by human trafficking syndicate. The bus drivers, during the interrogation, confirmed that the kids were handed over to them by a woman at Ijebode known as Mama Blessing, aka Martina, to be conveyed to Abuja, adding that on arrival in the FCT, the woman is to call another bus driver who will convey the children to Riom in Plateau State. Speaking to journalists, the Kogi State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Fatima Kabir Buba, said the repatriated children are within the ages of 9 to 19 years, respectively. Fatima said, after several interviews and investigations by the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development in Kogi State, are meant to understand that all the trafficked children are from Plateau State. The issue is still under investigation and the children have been repatriated to their state, Plateau, and handed over to the state's Ministry of Women Affairs to reunite with their parents. The Nigerian Police Command in Kogi State has banned the use of fireworks and knockouts in the state during Christmas and New Year celebrations. The command's PPRO, William Aya, in a statement on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Idrisu Dauda Daban, warned that anybody caught in the act will be arrested and prosecuted in accordance with the law of the land. The Commissioner therefore called on all parents to caution their children and wards, particularly the youths and teenagers who are fond of playing banga, to desist from such acts, as police is determined to deal decisively with anybody that wants to cause disturbance of public peace. The Commissioner advised all law-abiding people in the state to go about their legitimate businesses and warned that the command will not hesitate to apply the full wrath of the law against persons who take the law into their hands. To this end, the Commissioner urged the public to promptly report any suspicious movement or activities within their neighborhood to the nearest security agents. Nasarawa State government has banned the use and sale of charcoal in the state as part of measures to protect the environment. Permanent Secretary of the State Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, Aliu Agwai, said this while addressing journalists in Lafia after the December 2021 environmental sanitation exercise. According to Agwai, the ban became imperative given the harmful effect to human health and the environment associated with the process of producing charcoal. He stated that the use and sales of charcoal has also increased cases of indiscriminatory felling in the state, which gives rise to global warming and other environmental hazards. The Permanent Secretary warned those selling and using charcoal to desist from the business or face prosecution. Agwai, however, commended residents of the state for complying with the environmental sanitation exercise despite the change in date due to the forthcoming Christmas celebrations. You're still watching MLC TV News. We take a short break. The news continues shortly.
Mlc TV Online is here. For your timely and reliable news that reaches you fast with the breaking news, choose MLC TV. Get human interest stories right here on MLC TV. With entertainment, sports, business, culture, tourism, and fashion news stories all featured on MLC TV. Not forgetting political and current affairs news, state and federal government and people's matters will be discussed regularly on MLC TV. MLC TV, your one-stop online destination for unbiased, accurate news, entrepreneur ideas, and youth matters to the rest of the world. MLC TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone.
Welcome back. Furtherance to the advocacy campaign for COVID-19 vaccination across the length and breadth of Kogi State, a reputable non-governmental organization, Challenged Parenthood Initiative, has held a one-day capacity building on 4 key stakeholders in the campaign of COVID-19 vaccination in the state. The organizer and the executive director of CPI, Eunice Abimbola Abogun, disclosed that CPI, in partnership with CITAD and with funding from MacArthur Foundation, has been carrying out various advocacy visits to key stakeholders on the need for the enhancing demand creation of the COVID-19 vaccine project in the state. Hence, the need to also bring them together and enhance their capacity to become an ambassador for public acceptability of the vaccination project. Faith Abdulgafar has more.
According to Executive Director Challenged Parenthood Initiative, CPI, the capacity building became necessary to ensure that all relevant stakeholders in the campaign work in harmony for the public to accept the COVID-19 vaccination made available in the state.
Critically dependent on the ability of state and non-state actors to communicate the benefit of vaccination and to deliver the vaccine safely and effectively to target communities in the effort to keep citizens safe.
Stakeholders make remarkable contributions to wipe away the fear many have towards the vaccine and COVID-19.
It's not to treat blames as a position whereby the state actors and non-state actors need to come together and let's work this out. We believe in science. We use vehicles with ease. So this is not time for us to now begin to deny what it is.
And which is also very important, is that the vaccine is helpful only to the extent that you complement the vaccine with the non-pharmaceutical protocols. In other words, if I take vaccine and I use my guard and I don't use anything, no more social distancing, no more Christmas, and I move to that people, that's a possibility. Therefore, these are the 3 facts. COVID is real. Vaccine is safe. But vaccine is help. It's not curative. You can still move around when other people are not. That is the fact.
And goodwill from Christian Association of Nigeria. As I said from the beginning, the government doesn't want anybody to die. With the religious leaders, we don't want our members to die. And the society doesn't want to lose anybody. That is why we are here, to save lives. So I want to commend the federal government for declaring the vaccine. And I want to thank the Kogi state government for accepting the vaccine. We were one of the first in Nigeria. We belong to the first batch.
The first batch of vaccine that came into the state in April, about 50,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine. None was remaining in the state. It was all exhausted. That shows that people really troop out to get the vaccine. We have also taken delivery of other doses of vaccine like Moderna. We also took delivery of about 50,302 doses of Moderna. And as I'm talking today, we have used about 50,000 doses remaining only few doses scattered around the state. And also about 100,000 doses of AstraZeneca has also been added, and the work is ongoing, and I believe before the end of January next year we also exhaust that. So by and large, there has been good uptake of COVID-19 vaccine.
Some of the outcomes of the capacity building training was that the CPI was able to secure more of the buy-in and collaboration with the stakeholders to address the myths and misconceptions associated with COVID-19 vaccines.
One does not take the vaccine, which means one will be denied for MUHAMMADU. That is why we Muslims believe it is very, very important for us to take it.
The state can. He told us that he has taken it, that we can go out and take it. But I've already informed my women to come out and take the vaccine because it is safe. Those that are taking it, we are seeing them, nothing happened to them. So we believe that if we too take it, nothing will happen to us in Jesus' name.
Equally, there is also more willingness on the part of the stakeholders to do more engagement and enlightening for public acceptance.
It's essential that we, despite our whatever we believe in terms of what we feel about the vaccine itself, we all need to come together to ensure that all of us take the vaccine, because that's the only way we can hope to hold this virus in check.
The Kogi State Primary Healthcare Development Agency has partnered with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and every other partner to ensure that the COVID vaccination is robust, and every effort to make it acceptable to our people have also been adopted.
We thank the CPI for their efforts. Special grace of God, God will help you.
And access to the vaccines in the state. Stakeholders present at the capacity building training are representatives of Kogi State Ministry of Health, Kogi State Primary Health Care Development Agency, National Orientation Agency, Kogi State Directorate, Nigerian Medical Association of Kogi State Chapter, Christian Association of Nigeria, Kogi State, State Executive of Jama'atu Nasiru Islam, traditional rulers, as well as some notable media practitioners. Faith Abdulgafar reporting for MLC TV.
Some gallant officers of the Nigerian military, the police and civil defense were among the award recipients at the 3rd edition of the Security and Emergency Management Awards 2021. The officers received different categories of awards for demonstrating gallantry and doggedness in the fight against terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping, among others. The rewards are to recognize and commend them for their efforts to protect the citizens and the nation, Nigeria.
The award ceremony, which took place at Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja, honors Lieutenant Colonel Ponfa Andrew Woyep of the Nigerian Army bagged the Military Officer of the Year award for leading his troop on successful counter-insurgency operations in Maiduguri and its environs. Inspector Abimaje Isaiah of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) won the Security Officer of the Year for single-handedly apprehending scores of kidnappers along Abuja-Kaduna Highway. Flight Lieutenant Abayomi Dairo bagged gallantry award for shelling bandit camps in the northwest before his aircraft came under heavy fire by bandits. He successfully ejected from the aircraft and navigated to safety. Sami MUHAMMADU, a commander of the Civilian Joint Task Force CJTF Maiduguri, received the Volunteer Group Award for collaborating with the Nigerian troops in the arrest of informants and elimination of scores of ISWAP and Boko Haram terrorists. Other awardees are ASP Miriam Yusuf of the Nigerian Police, who won the Crisis Communicator Award, Abimbola Animashawan of the Nigerian Customs Service as Law Enforcement Officer of the Year, and Sifon Essien of TVC as Humanitarian Journalist of the Year. In addition, NDLA bagged an award on public information, Kano State Command of the Nigerian Correctional Service on crime prevention, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) on diligent investigation, Nigerian Navy on community service. Defense Headquarters on civil military relations, and the Federal Road Safety Corps on emergency management. Others are the Nigerian Institute for Security Studies for Training Institute, Lagos Command of Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC) for cyber crime prevention, and National Commission for Refugee for humanitarian services. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Benjamin Soya, bagged Media Friendly Personality of the Year. In his remarks, Yushua Shoaib, the Chief Executive Officer of Image Merchant, said SEMA Event, an initiative of Emergency Digest, was instituted in 2019 to recognize and appreciate the invaluable contribution to the security, peace and development of Nigeria by the personnel in the Nigerian Military, Security, Intelligence and Response Agency.
President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the renewed terrorist killing in Kaduna State, saying that the gruesome nature of recent incidents in Kaura Fawa, Make and Ruhiya of Idasu ward of Giwa local government area has made him particularly sad and the killings unacceptable. This was contained in a statement issued on Sunday night by his Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. According to the statement, bandits within the week have also killed citizens in Zangon Kataf, Chikun, Benin Bari, Ijabi and Karu local government areas of Kaduna State. It was gathered that death in attack in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State on Saturday has risen to 38 from 20. Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, said 29 of the victims have been identified, with 9 remaining unidentified at the time of this report. The president also expressed the nation's condolences to the government of Kaduna State, the people of Zonkwa Chiefdom, and the family of His Highness Nuhu Bature, the Agwan Kaju, on his demise. He prayed for the repose of the souls of the deceased. President Buhari affirmed that the security forces have turned the heat on the terrorists who are getting frustrated and soft targeting innocent citizens, looting their assets, burning their homes and killing them indiscriminately. He has reiterated his directive to the security and intelligence chiefs to do everything they can to destroy the remaining vestiges of the terrorists. May their souls rest in peace. And it is now obvious that Kaduna State government need to do everything possible to stop the incessant killings. 8 members of the robbery gang who attacked banks and security formations in Egbe and Odere communities in Yaba West Local Council of Kogi State have been arrested. They were arrested through combined efforts of security agencies, local hunters and vigilantes. The bandits has last week killed 4 civilians, a police officer and a bank guard during their operation that lasted about an hour, leaving residents to scamper to safety. Reports gathered that a combined team of security agents immediately swung into action and tracked the bandits into their hideouts, where an unofficial report said some of the robbers were killed. 2 members of the fleeing gang were also arrested by local hunters at Ibaruku, a suburb of Odere. An eyewitness said news of their arrest attracted an irate crowd who gathered at the police divisional station at Odere and demanded instant justice. According to the witness, when the police failed to yield to their demand, the crowd became unruly and in commotion. An officer mistakenly fired a gunshot that led to the death of yet-to-be-identified 2 people. He said all arrested suspects have been moved to Kogi State Police Command in Lokoja for further investigations and prosecution. An indigene of Egbe and a 2-term member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Sunday Karimi, has expressed appreciation to Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello for mobilizing a prompt security response to the attack. Karimi, in a statement, prayed for improved security all over Nigeria, stressing that the people of Egbe and Odere were impressed by the swift response of the security agencies, especially the combat helicopters deployed for counterattack and aerial surveillance against the bandits. The chairman of Yaba West, Pius Kolawole, has condoled the families of those who lost their loved ones in the unfortunate incident that happened in the community that led to the death of 2 people in a police station in Odere. Pius prayed to Almighty God to grant the bereaved families the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss and make the souls of the deceased find eternal rest. He equally prayed that those who sustained injuries and are receiving treatment in the hospital recuperated in no distant time. The chairman, Pius, appreciated the quick, prompt intervention of the Chief Security Officer and the Governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, for making sure that those robbers who came in their numbers to take the people of Yaba were caught with the support of adequate machinery put to use, including the deployment of a helicopter to Yaba West for surveillance and effective patrol of the entire area to ensure that criminal elements have no hidden place. He equally appreciated the courage coordinated and spontaneous response of gallant security agents, the Nigerian Army, the police, the hunters, vigilantes and other security agencies who immediately launched a manhunt to apprehend the robbers in response to government directives. A notorious bandit terrorist leader, Bello Turji, is reportedly incapacitated after sustaining severe injuries when military fighter jets raided his hideout and bandits camp in the North Forest. In a report gathered, the attack jets of the Air Task Force (ATF) of the Operation Hadinkai also killed several bandits in the raid carried out at some forest in Zamfara and Sokoto states on the Saturday. A military intelligence source told journalists that the Air Task Force's aggressive operation, in conjunction with ground troops of the Nigerian Army, took place at Shinkafi town in Zamfara and Bafarawa Isa Sabon Bene axis in Sokoto state. According to the intelligence source, the actual number of bandits who were eliminated by the airstrikes could not be ascertained in the down operations. The Nigerian Correctional Service has set up a special security team to strengthen security around custodial centers across the country. This is contained in a statement issued by the Service Public Relations Officer, Francis Enobori in Abuja. The Comptroller General, NCOS, Haliru Nababa, made this known after a meeting with Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Abubakar Audi, and the Acting Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Idris Jerry. Nababa said that the meeting was centered on strengthening intelligence gathering and sharing of same among security operatives to nip attacks in the bud. He recalled that the Minister of Interior, Rauf Arabissola, has, on December 9th, during the ministerial retreat held in Ilorin, Kwara, directed security agencies under the Ministry of Interior to work together as a family in the area of intelligence gathering, sharing and physical confrontation with jail attack story. He described the perpetrators as common enemies whose main agenda was to challenge the authority and test the might of the federal government, therefore must not be allowed to live and tell their story. He said that the synergy would also include immediate inauguration of a joint task force of armed personnel comprising the 3 arm-bearing agencies under the Ministry of Interior. He also said that the task force was expected to combine with officers and men of the Nigerian Armed Forces and the Nigerian Police Force that were already deployed to support correctional armed squad in guarding custodial centers. And on foreign news, Gabriel Boric, a leftist former student leader, will become Chile's youngest president after storming to a resounding victory in a runoff vote against his ultra-conservative far-right opponent, Jose Antonio Cast, with nearly 97% of the vote counted. The 35-year-old claimed 55.8% to take a 12 percentage point lead over Cast, who quickly accepted his defeat and called Boric to congratulate him. Boric said in front of a vast crowd packed into a Santiago Boulevard that they are a generation that emerged in public life demanding their rights be respected as rights and not treated like consumer goods or a business. He said they no longer will permit that the poor keep paying the price of Chile's inequality. Boric has vowed that he will oversee a youth-led form of inclusive government to attack nagging poverty and inequality, which he has pinned on the free market economic model that was imposed during the Augustus Pinochet dictatorship. His progressive campaign premises, including fighting climate by blocking a proposed mining project in the world's largest copper-producing nation and ending Chile's private pension system, hallmark of the Pinochet neoliberal model. Boric said on Sunday that the times ahead will not be easy. Only with social cohesion, refining themselves and sharing common ground will they be able to advance towards truly sustainable development, which reaches every Chilean. His relative inexperience was regularly highlighted by his rivals, but on Sunday night, Boric was fluent and assured that, as he reiterated his campaign pledge before the raucous crowd of supporters, he thanked each candidate in turn, including Cast, and reinforced his commitment to Chile's constitutional process, a key consideration for many as the country embarked on this latest chapter in a turbulent period of transition. Just, truth, and respect, Boric said as he signed off to deafening cheers, we will continue. Pro-Beijing candidates have claimed a victory in Hong Kong's Legislative Council election as the city saw its lowest ever voter turnout. It was the first leg-co election since China made sweeping controversial changes to the city's electoral system. Officials argue the changes were needed to ensure stability, but critics say they weakened democracy. Beijing unveiled a statement outlining democracy with Hong Kong characteristics. In a white paper released hours after election results were announced, China said Hong Kong was now entering a new stage of restored order as a result of these Beijing-introduced changes. Sudanese took to the streets in the capital of Khartoum and elsewhere across the country for mass protest against an October military takeover and the subsequent deal that reinstated Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok but sidelined the movement. The demonstrations mark the third anniversary of the uprising and eventually forced the military removal of long-term autocrat Omar al-Bashir and his Islamist government in April 2019. Sudan then followed a fragile path toward democracy and ruled by a joint military-civilian government. The October 25th coup has rattled the transition and led to relentless street protests. Video footage circulated online purported to show tens of thousands of protesters marching in the streets of Khartoum, an eastern city of Omdurman, on Sunday. The Netherlands have begun to strike lockdown over Christmas amid concerns over the Omicron coronavirus variant. Non-essential shops, bars, gyms, hairdressers, and other public venues are closed until at least 14th of January. 2 guests per household will be allowed, 4 over the holidays. Prime Minister Mark Rutte said the measures were unavoidable. Countries across Europe have been tightening restrictions as the heavily mutated variant spreads. The new rules in the Netherlands are the strictest to have been announced over Omicron so far. There are strict limits on the number of people who can meet. A maximum of 2 guests, aged 13 and over, are allowed in people's homes. This will rise to 4 people between 24th and 26th of December and on the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Events are not permitted other than funerals, weekly markets, selling groceries and professional sports matches with no spectators. Restaurants can continue to sell takeaway meals and non-essential shops can offer click and collect service. Meanwhile, all schools are now closed until at least 9th of January. Over to Jonah Malik on Sport Update.
Welcome to Sport Update. African champions Algeria beat Tunisia to win FIFA Arab Cup. Extra time goal by substitute Ahmad Sayoud and Yassin Brahimi gave Algeria a 2-0 win over neighbors Tunisia in the FIFA Arab Cup final at the Al Bayat Stadium on Saturday. Algeria added Arab crown to the African Cup of Nations title they won in 2019 and will defend in Cameroon next month. The 31-year-old Sayoud made his international debut in Algeria's opening game of the tournament but did not play again until coming on just past the hour mark in the final. His thunderous 99th-minute shot gave Tunisia's goalkeeper Moez Hassan no chance and turned Sayoud into an instant national hero. Brahimi scored on a breakaway with a last kick of the game as Tunisia pushed everyone up for a last gasp corner and he raised away unchecked after the ball was cleared by the Algerian defender. Both countries were playing without their European-based player and looked tired at the end of the 18th-day tournament, but kept pressing for goals against the backdrop of the rush's atmosphere delivered by a capacity 60,456 crowd. The tournament was designed as a dress rehearsal for next year's World Cup. Joseph Parker emerged triumphant over Derek Chisora once more as the pair locked horns for their heavyweight rematch. Parker had beaten Chisora back in May on a controversial split decision. That fight was held behind closed doors and much was made about the impact a full arena would have on the rematch. Parker and Chisora down in the 7th round and later opted to seek a safe place in the corner of the ring. He reverted to the very same tactic in the following round and the evenly match start to his fight suddenly seemed a long time ago. Parker was dominant, but the more Chisora resisted and swung violently in defense, the more the New Zealander tried on his way to seeking out a knockout. The fight went the distance as CHISORA hung on in there, but the writing was on the wall after all of Parker's probing, and the judges awarded the fight to him by unanimous decision, scoring the fight 115-110, 115-101, 114-112 in his favor. And that's sports update on MLC TV. I am Malik Jonah.
Thank you, Jonah, for the update. And now we'll go over to Matthias Ayodeji Peter for entertainment news.
On entertainment news today, the famous South Korean horror movie Train to Busan is set for a Hollywood remake. Produced by New Line Cinema, an American production company responsible for acclaimed horror flicks like Annabelle IT, Warner Bros. Revealed that the upcoming remake will be titled The Last Train to New York and is currently set for release soon. Directed by Yeon Sang-ho, Train to Busan first aired in 2016 and its sequel Peninsula was a lockdown release. Train to Busan centers on the story of a divorced father and his estranged young daughter who wants to take a train to Busan to spend time with her mother. However, terror unfolds as zombies overtake the entire train on the way there. Those aboard the train to Busan must fight to survive a deadly outbreak with no safe way to travel nor a safe place to go. The precursor station was released soon after Train to Busan. Its story explained how the zombie epidemic started and spread across South Korea rapidly. Unfortunately, the sequel Peninsula didn't receive high praise from critics like its predecessor in the same universe. Peninsula takes place 4 years after the event seen in Train to Busan. New Line Cinema, Atomic Monster, and Coin Operated have decided to co-produce the movie together with Warner Bros. Pictures, set as a worldwide distributor. The Last Train to New York will follow the same premise and be directed by Timothy Jato, with Gary Dumberman serving as the film's writer. Notable horror director and writer James Wan will produce the project. There is no information regarding the exact detailed plot or casting choice at this time, and with a release date over a year from now, we'll be waiting a while to find out more information. Still on entertainment, Lukman Ali's viral feature film, The Girl in the Yellow Jumper, has been confirmed in Netflix release. The Uganda film, which made headlines in 2020 after what fans expected was the original version of the film, leaked days to its premiere, will debut on the streamer on Christmas Day. Produced and directed by Ali, the 2020 trailer follows the story of a man who escapes a hostage situation and returns home with a story to tell. It stars Rahema Nafunka, Philip Luswata, Michael Wawuju Jr., Michael Wawuju, Gladys Onyebut, and Maurice Kriya. Originally set for theatrical release in Kampala in April 2020, The Girl in the Yellow Jumper was forced on hold due to COVID-19 outbreak. Shortly after its delayed release, the film production company announced an online premiere, and days to the scheduled premiere, it supposedly leaked on YouTube. Unfortunately for eager fans, the leak turned out to be a prank as Ali released a version of trailer clips tagging it in the film's leaked version. The Girl in the Yellow Jumper was shot in northern Uganda in 2018. And that's our entertainment news today. My name is Matthias Ayodeji Peter, reporting for MLC TV. Back to our caster for more stories.
Thank you, Matthias, for the update. And that is today's news package. Please join us tomorrow via the same channel. For sponsorship and advert placement, call the numbers displayed on your screen, or visit our social media handles: Facebook, MLC TV, Instagram, MLC TV 2021, YouTube, Mlc TV. I am Fatima Yakub. Thanks for staying with us.